Hey y'all, it's me, Arlene J. Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk, also your favorite self wealth mentor. So today I want to lend my perspective on Shanquella Robinson. I've seen a lot of perspectives from various content creators and updates from those creators, and I appreciate them because they've been keeping us all updated on Shanquella Robinson. Well, today I'm not going to give updates on the case because you guys can see that all over YouTube and social media. What I wanted to talk about though is women and self-preservation and how women young women find themselves in these types of situations and don't realize where it's coming from. Okay, so let me start with saying this, and it's a very challenging pill to swallow, but we need to get to some other aspects of truth if we're going to prevent these things from happening. So let me start with saying this. Number one, we got to understand that we're living in a spiritual warfare. Okay, there's always going to be the battle of light and versus dark, which it should be a constant balance of the two, right? However, society by the collective doesn't understand that balance is the way to go. Number two is the cruelty aspect of dark. The cruelty aspect is here to distinguish and diminish anything that represents love, light, and harmony. That's just the nature of that energy, and people who are in alignment with that energy actually act that out. Whether you provoke it or not, they act it out. It doesn't matter how nice you are to them or how loving you are to that energy. Anyone who is in alignment with the cruelty aspect of darkness doesn't care about how much love you give, doesn't care about how much you give back or how much you have done to them. They are here to distinguish the light, because the light in many aspects irritates them. It's kind of like blinding. When you just look into the sun, the sun kind of like interferes with your vision for a while. That's what light does to the cruelty aspect of darkness. And why I'm focusing on the cruelty aspect of darkness is that darkness is not a negative thing. You have to understand that children are developed in a mom's womb. There's no light in your womb. Film, back in the day, pictures were developed from darkness, right? Negatives were in a dark room with red dark light. There's plenty of great ideas that are formed when people are up at night thinking, because their survival instincts from being aware and having to look out for everything or just survive has subdued, and now their creativity, the creative mind, is spinning. Okay, so hence why I'm focusing on the cruelty aspect and not necessarily dark. All right, moving along from that. Now that we have that understanding about cruelty, women don't are usually around people that don't have their best other women who don't have their best interests at heart, because women have this culture or this nature where they're naturally unpleasant to other women. And that is accepted behavior between women, or in the culture of women. I can only say that comes from what women are taught by their mothers or other women who have raised them, right? So you have to look at, for some women, what goes on in your upbringing. When you're coming into puberty and your shape is filling out, many mothers or go put a t-shirt on, cover that up, No one needs to see all of that, so you're made to think that something is wrong with you. Your body is not beautiful. You are not beautiful. It is to be covered up. And it is the attitude that you are met with, the energy and the disdain you are met with, the hatred in the eyes of the woman that is telling you this, right? But the person who raised you, whether it's your mother, your grandmother, or your guardian, you see this person as someone that loves you, right? So what you got to understand is that a lot of women have been conditioned to think that the person who loves them also dislikes them. And it is okay, because that person who dislikes certain aspects of them and who have showed them much disdain, also put clothes on their back, put food in their mouths, send them to school, kept them tidy, kept them clean, whatever you may call it. And in some cases, that was not the case, Hence, women do it to each other. And they think it's okay. The other thing is that women in groups pull to show dominance. So in that, it's about putting down other women because one wants to be the leader and wants everyone else to follow what that one person says or do. And in order to do that, they assert some type of dominance over other women. And for those who, quote unquote, don't get with the program, they're met with evil looks, put downs, and the look like that, as in who do you think you are? The problem I have with that is that it is very difficult to draw the line when you're around people who have this type of energy towards each other. Because in that, how do you know when a person will have your best interest at heart when you're around people who constantly project this type of energy because they want to be right or they want to maintain dominance? How do you know that they really care about you and wouldn't allow something to happen to you? It's difficult to decipher, So and then society. It's unfortunate because society has groomed women to believe that there is only room for one great individual. So often, women are fighting for a spot, a number one spot. They don't believe that everyone can be great and just be. It's one person that's great and everybody else is under me. And there's a lot of fight for that spot and to have that appearance within a group, only so that it can be projected onto other people who you don't know who's viewing the group. The problem also with that is that creates disdain from other women within the group. Whether they say it or not, that energy, they're holding that energy in. They're bottling it up. So with that, how do you know that they'll actually look out for you in times of need? There's many women that I've heard stories, and even with the Shanquella Robinson case, a lot of women have come forward to talk about their experiences. A lot of them did not know that they were around people who weren't their friends until they went on girls' trips. They're away from home. Some of these girls, told stories about being gang raped because they go out, they go and have a good time, and then they get drunk. Someone puts something in their drink, they pass out, they don't know what happened to them. The next day they wake up, they're raped and robbed. Their money is gone, belongings that is of value are gone. And that's when they knew that they were around people that didn't have their best interest at heart. So this video is to shed a perspective for women so that you can prevent yourself from learning that you're around people who don't have your best interests at heart when you go away on vacation, because some women don't come back. And it's not just vacation. They learn these things when they have sleepovers, things like that, where they have to be all together for some time with the same group of people in an enclosed place or away from your home. And that's when they learn that these people are not their friends, which is unfortunate. And it tells me that they're only learning that they're not their friends because of the actions that was taken against them during that time, which is extreme. You cannot be someone's friend or have their best interest at heart if you allow them to get raped, or if you allow something to happen to them while they're away from home and family. They cannot just pick up a phone and ask someone to come and get them because they're too far away. It shouldn't have to take that. And this is why I'm speaking about the behavior of women and the things that women do when they are within groups of friends. And you would have to watch that. That is not a sign of compassion, understanding, respect, reciprocity amongst individuals. Those are direct energies and attitudes of people who are looking to seek dominance over you and other women within the group. Okay? The next thing is women and people in general, but since this is for Shanquella and women, you have to pay attention to what's important to you and what's important to your friends as far as survival is concerned, because Shanquella seemed to be an overachiever. She had many things going on, and she was only 25 years old. So that she would only grow and progress more as she's gotten older, right? You got to understand that progress and success breeds envy. That's just a natural thing. And it's not so much as even if you're around people who are not as progressive as you. I've seen people who are as progressive as the next still envy, because in their mind they want to be the one and only to progress to that level. They don't want anyone else next to them because they want all the attention on them as the only overachiever. So you have that aspect, and you also have the aspect whereas if you are doing better than the people around you, you would have to seek out what their true interests are into wanting to remain friends with you or just be your friend. When did they become your friend? I think we have much of society have one aspect of self-preservation down pat, right? Which is the first law of nature, and that is also to provide for self, right? Keep a roof over your head, keep the resources so that you can keep food in your mouth, take care of yourself, and go to work and those sort of things, right? We got that aspect of down pat. There's another aspect to self-preservation that many people don't have down pat, right? And that is this. I wrote it down. Cut off that which may harm you. But if it is worth preserving and is meaningful, nourish it and have no regrets. This aspect of self-preservation should kind of also be right next to the go get it, making that money and so on and so forth, right? Because in that, you'll learn to listen more to your intuition, your gut instinct about the people that's around you, And in that, you will learn to make better decisions for yourself. There's too many people in this world that don't want to see other people do well. That's just it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think sometimes people get too caught up into the biblical aspect of things, of just wanting to be love and light, some aspects of the biblical aspects of things, right? Of wanting to be love and light, and learning and understanding that when you put love out, you give love, you receive love. What you put out is what you receive. That is true in one aspect, but it is not true for the envious people in this world. And for the people in which I described earlier, the people who are in alignment with the cruelty aspects of darkness. It doesn't matter how much good you put out, you're not going to get that back from people who are in alignment with that type of energy. And you know they are by the things that they say, right? The other thing is this. I think we've glorified the savagery mentality, the cutthroat mentality. We've accepted that as a society. And what you don't understand is the people who are behaving like a savage and who is cutthroat is the very same people that are not going to have your best interest at heart. Too often that is glorified as a way of how to get by in life, because a lot of times people who are the savage or the cutthroat seem to get by in life. But look at how they get by in life and how they prosper. It is usually at the expense of other people. And I don't think when it comes to the friend circle that registers to people within the friend circle, that if my so-called friend can be a savage and do this to other people outside of the friend circle, what will stop them from doing that to me within the friend circle? I think this holding on to the word friend and thinking the people around you is a friend is going to stop them from doing that. But you would have to know that people who are in alignment with that and is glorified by them and they have no hiccups about it. It's first nature to them. I need you to understand that they will do it to you too. When the time is right for them, they will do it to you too. Okay? In that, let's say you don't see it. But what will happen in cases where you have to survive? Like when we had COVID and the pandemic and everything shut down, right? People lost their jobs. People were hungry, right? There was a lot of people who had 6 months to a year money saved up in case something happened. That pandemic went on for 2 months. For 2 years. If that person lost their job, they're now on the lower end of the totem pole as far as finances, right? So now they're on the have-nots aspects of things. What do you think a person like that would do to people that they so-called call their friends when they're in alignment with the cruelty aspect of that energy? You understand what I'm saying? And now this, again, it's not a light and a happy-go-lucky conversation. But sometimes we need to have these kinds of conversations if we are to preserve self, because self-preservation is the first law of nature. Moving right along to my last point. The one that Shanquella Robinson called her best friend, her BF, the best friend, the gay gentleman, he's someone that's been her friend since, when was it, 2014 or earlier. He's been on vacation with her mother and her family several times. The family know him. Yet he's the one that was recording the Shanquella getting attacked and saying, Shanquella, can you at least fight back? Can you at least something? He recorded the whole thing. And let's say he didn't record the whole thing because, we saw how long the clip was. Let me say this. Shanquella died while he was there. At no point he thought to stop her from being attacked. Leads me to this. A lot of women don't understand, or maybe don't want to realize, a lot of gay men, and I have nothing against gay people, but this is a fact. No matter how we try to cover it up, it is a fact and it is something that exists. Whether we know it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, whether you want to blame me for speaking what I'm about to say or not, this exists. Some gay men hate natural born women. It is the truth. Okay? A lot of that comes from how they were raised. They may not like their mother. They may hate their mother. I know many gay men who told me that they became gay because they were sexually abused by a mother's boyfriend, some friend that the mother had, some uncle. It's somebody that's close to the family, some man that sexually abused them, and now they become, they question their sexuality and they think that they should be gay, or they think that they are gay because they think something was wrong with them that would make a man sexually molest them when they were boys. So they start thinking, maybe I was showing signs of being gay. And maybe he saw something in me that mommy didn't see, or that it just took me to come to realize maybe I should be gay. But on the flip side, that they have so much turmoil. They're jaded. And then they hate their mom, not only because of those things. A lot of times it's how they were raised by their moms. Some mothers don't show love to their children and not their sons. A lot of mothers abuse their sons because the son's father wasn't there, or men are not staying in her life. And so some women think that men are never going to be good for relationships, so they put men down. They look at men here and they start the abuse with their sons from early, thinking that you will never be right for society or for a woman because this is all that men do. Those women haven't held themselves accountable for the type of men that they are selecting in their lives. And then keeping, because sometimes we don't know a person. We don't always, people don't always reveal who they are, especially people who are narcissists and sociopaths. They don't tell you who they are up front. They don't no one tells you who they are. But people like that don't reveal who they are, right? So you don't know that until later, years after the fact, because you're not thinking that these people are abusing you and they never cared about you. They're just here to feed and feast off of your energy, right? So these women are not holding themselves accountable for the people that they continue to entertain in their life, the men, and then they project their hatred, their confusion, their sorrow, their uncertainty on their sons. And now their sons have that bag to carry. And now their sons growing up thinking that this is what girls are and this is what women are. And they've built a strong disdain against women. So in that, they're not going to look out for the best interests of a woman. Number 2, about gay men. Women have to understand that some gay men see them as competition, because the same straight man that you are interested in, or the fact that you are interested in straight men, they are too interested in straight men. And you have to understand that it's harder for them to upkeep that lifestyle as a gay man than it is for you to just live as a natural born woman. A lot of gay men are rejected by straight men. So they're frustrated because they're not able to live the wholesome life that they want to. Never mind the clothes and the girl and the attitude and all of that. That's one aspect of it. But the other aspect of it is sexual intimacy, other intimacy. A person to just talk, a companion, a male companion, when they go home at night. When they take all of that stuff off and all of that, there's nobody for them to, swange girl and all of that to put on the show for. When there's no more of that and they go home, they don't have anyone, because they have to deal with straight men who would want to deal with them. So now there's another aspect of them that where they're building another level of tension and disdain for the lifestyle that they've chose. And then they're looking at you and your lifestyle. They don't care. Next, about her so-called best friend who's gay. I saw a video of when he was at her shop and he's talking about her money and he wants to be on her oh girl, you need to put me on your payroll. What is he going to do on her payroll? You know, she has a hair braiding business where she braids little children's hair. And then she has a boutique where she sells clothes, you know, to women. What aspect of her business is he going to fit in? You know, so women, you also, you know, we should also be looking at the conversations that the people around us are having. Anyone who's actually your friend would know not to assert themselves in your businesses unless you ask them. Then they wouldn't be asserting themselves. If you ask them, hey, listen, I would like you to be on, I would like to hire you for X, Y, and Z. Cool. Right? But a real friend would know if they would do you any justice working at your place of business. It's not like she has like a corner store or a bodega or something where he can be a cashier or, you know, he can stock up the stores and things like that. What is he going to do at her children's hair business place or her boutique where she's selling clothes for women? To even say, put me on your payroll. You know, and these are the things that I don't think we women or people pay attention to enough, because women have been groomed to believe that savagery and the dirty looks and the rolling your eyes at things like that, those types of things are disrespectful. If I looked at someone like that or rolled my eyes at someone like that, I don't like them. That's not somebody I'm going to call my friend. Now, I could see every now and then if we disagree about something, but I've disagreed with people that I call associates, and I still don't speak to them or look at them like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's different because I still have some respect for them. And I want that to be reciprocated to me, right? And I just want to leave you guys with that. You know, women, I would like to see us get away from that nasty attitude and get away from people other women who think that's okay. Because I'm going to say again, where do you draw the line, right? If you think I'm speaking nonsense, think about your circle of people that you call friends and the girls or the females or the gay friends that do that. Think about their reaction, the energy that came behind it, and then ask yourself, how is that person with that energy going to have my best interest at heart? And when we say your best interest, we're talking about your life. Make sure nothing happens to you, because some of you think your best interest is if they put you onto a lead and you get new business, or they put you in, they introduce you to a new associate or something like that, and you think they're the best thing since sliced bread. No, we're talking about your livelihood. We're talking about your life. We're talking about, there's people that are still alive, but guess what? They've had people they call friends that set them up to go rob them. Now you have people running up in your house, stealing things from you. And then guess what happens? If somebody runs into your house to rob you in your home with your husband or whatever the case may be, many times people have been killed in their own home from people coming to rob them. So it's all of those things that we should be looking at and paying attention to when we call people friends. It's unfortunate. And I'm happy that the FBI is involved and that Mexico is looking for Shandasia, or whatever her name is, Shandaya Jackson, the one that was attacking her in the video. I don't care about these people's names like that, right? So Mexico is looking to have her extradited back to Mexico to deal with that. But they need to also arrest the other 5. Send all of them back to Mexico. Okay? What happened to her was disgusting. It was a disgrace. And it was very revealing of how cruelty, if we're not careful, will not want to see anything or anyone with a good heart and a good spirit flourish. I'm quite sure Shanquella would have been a good community person. You know, a lot of people said she had a good heart. She was humble, she was kind, she was giving. There wasn't a person who spoke about her who didn't say nice things about her. And the way they were saying it, you can tell that it was real. This is definitely who she was as a person. So in that, what reason did she give any of you or any of them to take her life? We got to be careful. Those of us with good hearts, good spirits, we have to be careful. Peace, y'all.